Welcome back, guys. Lonestar Patriot here. Thanks for joining me. So today we're going to take a look at the 511 Tactical Rush Mobile Operation Attachment Bag. So let's check it out. Okay, so starting with the outside of the pack, let's first talk about the material of this particular pack. Now this is actually made from 1050 denier corduroy nylon material, which is certainly a high quality material. Now the color that you see here on this pack is actually what 511 calls their sandstone color. Now that's very similar to, say, a coyote or even an FDE color. Now they do offer this in 3 other color choices, the first being black, the second being what they call double tap, which is essentially a gray color, and then finally what they call a storm color, which is very similar to, say, an OD green. Now if we start with this front compartment, so the outside of this front compartment, as you see, has moly webbing, of course, on the entirety of the compartment, which is certainly nice because this does make this pack modular. So you can certainly add your additional pouches here, or maybe, say, an IFAK if you decide to do so. But it does have a loop field here for, say, a patch, and then up here at the top it does have another loop field for, say, a name tape. Now if we get into the actual dimensions of this front compartment, it measures approximately 12.5 inches long by 8 inches wide by approximately 2 inches deep. Now as I open this up, the zippers on this pack are YKK zippers. So they're certainly high quality zippers, and those are also self-lubricating. So as you open up the front compartment, on the left side here, you have 2 admin pouches that are equally sized and approximately half the length of the overall compartment. Now moving to the right side, on this lower section, you have, again, 2 equally sized compartments here, or pouches. And then behind those, you have some additional smaller pouches. On this side, this is, say, a couple inches wide, and then on this other side, it's been subdivided equally to where it's more of, say, a pencil or pen type pouch, just for size of reference. Now moving up, you have another admin pouch. This is essentially the width of this compartment, and then just over, I'd say, half the depth or the length of it. And then you have these 2 keepers here for, say, attaching your keys to, or maybe attaching a flashlight, in terms of gaining visibility inside this compartment, say, at night. And then lastly, you have this zipper pouch, which is basically the full length of this compartment, and it's certainly nice to keep your contents stored in this compartment. Now, if we close that up, and we'll look at one of the other, what I feel, most desirable features of this pack here in a second, we'll first look at the side of the actual pack, and on both sides, you again have the moly webbing here. Now, I should note that there is no particular holder for, say, a water bottle. So if you want to attach, say, an Nalgene bottle, you have to get a dedicated pouch for that and attach it to the pack, although this is a fairly limited width here to get maybe a pouch, for example, to attach and to sit properly. Now, again, that is on both sides of the pack. So if we flip this over to the back side, we'll come back and talk about the strap here in a second. But looking at the back of the pack, you do have a fairly well ventilated back. You also have some cushioning at the pressure points in these 3 locations. Now, looking at the strap. So obviously, as the name indicates, of this being a Slingpack, this has 1 strap. Now, the way I've got this set up is actually for a right-hand carry. So you can also set this up on a left-hand carry, and obviously that's the benefit of having an ambidextrous strap. So that strap can be accessed through this pocket here and can be stowed away, but it's certainly there in case you want to set it up in a different configuration than what I have it. Now, if we look at this particular pocket, now this shoulder strap pocket in terms of dimensions is approximately 5 inches long by 3.5 inches wide by approximately 1 3/4 inches deep. Now, it does have another loop field here for, again, a smaller patch, or maybe, say, a blood type patch here. Now, if we open this up, this does have an elastic keeper, which is certainly nice. Now, this size, just again for reference, will fit an iPhone 7, even an iPhone 6, but this is more of a smaller pocket, obviously, for, say, comms, a radio, a cell phone, that sort of thing. Now, looking at the actual grab handle here, this does have a very solid grab handle. It is wide enough to easily grasp, and it also is, of course, a large enough opening to get your hand in there easily especially if you have gloves on. Now, one other thing to note is that it does have a access point here for, say, a hydration bladder in case you're running a tube through there, even comms or potentially headphones, and that actually protrudes through into the main compartment that we'll look here in a second. Now, again, let's come back to the kind of the highlight of this particular bag. So what I like most about this bag is that underneath this front compartment is you have a hidden compartment which is accessed by this tab here. So you basically have a Velcro closure, and inside there you have a very deep pocket that pretty much runs the same length as this front compartment, but it's a great spot for carrying, say, a concealed carry weapon, and it's definitely not easily visible in terms of, say, a firearm printing, say if you had it in this front compartment. But the other nice feature about this is that there is a Velcro lining down inside this particular compartment. So if you had, say, a Velcro holster, you could certainly use that in there to keep your firearm from moving around. But I definitely like this feature about this bag. And I'll roll in some footage here of some pictures showing that at the end of the video. Now, if we look now at the main compartment, so the main compartment is basically the size of the bag, or the overall exterior dimensions. So it's about 18 1/4 inches long by 9 inches wide by approximately 5 1/4 inches deep. So if we open that up, that compartment opens up, of course, just like a clamshell. So if we start here on the left side of the pack. Now, again, keep in mind that this is a sling pack. So the idea is to sling it, of course, around your shoulder, and then a need sling it around to the front of your body. So this particular side here on this main compartment is designed to be accessed from both sides in terms of you carrying the pack on the right side as well as from the left side. So, for example, if we start here, this zipper pocket on this one side is the full width of the main compartment, but it can be accessed from either side depending on how you have this set up to carry. And then likewise, you have the same for these mesh pockets, which are Velcro. So you can access it from this side, or alternatively, you can access the same pocket from the other side. And again, there's one mesh pocket here, and there's a second mesh pocket on this side, but same deal. Now, if we move over to the right side of the main compartment, again, this is pretty much just an open compartment. It does have this particular admin pouch here that you can use this elastic keeper, say, to tighten down contents that are inside this pouch. Now, the last thing to mention is that on the bottom here, it does have this compression strap for, say, if you want to carry a bedroll maybe, or even a jacket, but you have at least some capacity here to carry contents outside of your pack and then cinch those down with this compression strap. And then likewise, you have the same similar compression straps here on the side if you want to go ahead and cinch down the contents of the pack to make it a smaller profile. All right, guys, so to wrap up today's video covering the 511 Tactical Rush MOAB 10 Sling Pack. Now, what I want to do is basically talk about the pros and cons, at least in my perspective, of this particular pack. So if we start off with the pros of this pack. So as I mentioned in the video, it is made of a durable material in a 1050 denier corduroy nylon material, which is certainly a strong and tough material. Now, in my experience with other 511 products, those have also been very tough and durable packs, so I had no issues, and I expect no less from this particular pack. Now, the second item is the number of pockets and compartments in this pack. You certainly have a lot of different options for carrying items in separate compartments inside this particular pack. Now, the third is the ease of deployment of the pack. Again, given that it is a sling pack with a one strap, you can easily deploy this to the front of your body and gain access to the inside of the bag. Now, my most favorite feature of this pack, like I mentioned, is the actual concealed carry compartment. So again, with the bag deployed to the front of my body, I can easily open that compartment and gain access to, say, a firearm. Now, the last thing is the ability to expand your capacity of this bag with the MOLLE webbing on both the front compartment as well as on the sides. Now, the other nice feature is that it does include the 511 Tactical tier system strapping. Now, moving on to the actual cons of this bag that I see. So the first being that there are no external pouches specifically a water bottle pouch, which again is my preference in terms of carrying a bottle on the outside of a bag versus on the inside. Now, in all fairness to the bag, it does have a dedicated pouch on this back side against your back for a hydration bladder. Now, the second item is it is a smaller pack, so you are limited in terms of what you can carry, both in size of the contents as well as the weight of the contents. Now, given that this is obviously a sling pack with one strap, again, the heavier weight that you have in this pack, the more difficult or strenuous it's going to be on the shoulder you have it carried on. So that might be a limiting factor. Now, the last thing is the price. So this is certainly a fairly expensive bag for what it is. This retails right about $100, although I was able to pick this up on sale for about $75. But again, the price is on the higher end for the size of the pack that you get. So I hope you found the video helpful, but thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and keep it the good fight. With the back of the pack here, or the outside, this is actually a loop field. Okay, so starting with the outside of the pack, now let's first talk about the material. They do offer a double tap, which is basically a gray color, and they offer just kind of run through some of the pros.